consciousness plays a key role in the universe. He also tells of an experiment about DNA. And I thought this one is just so good for anybody who has or has ever had health issues. The DNA, when someone is feeling anger or hatred or jealousy, DNA actually winds up tight and it prevents the full expression of the immune system. So it couldn't fight off germs like our immune system usually does. But in the presence of the life-affirming emotions, positive emotions, the DNA began to unwind. And then it was functioning at its full function. So if you really think about this, it's pretty amazing because science has proven now that belief, which is what that emotion compiled with the thought was, that belief actually does affect the circumstance of our body. So knowing this, we know again that infinite blessings are available. But even though we know this, sometimes it seems like we're still wanting some blessings and they're not showing up in our lives. Maybe you desire more money, or a happy or happier relationship with a significant other, or a better car, or a house, or a financially fulfilling, rewarding job. Well, if you desire these blessings but you don't have them, perhaps there's something you're doing that you don't realize that's blocking those blessings. One of the things that I think blocks blessings is deserving, worthiness. A lot of times people at a subconscious level think they don't deserve the blessing. Because think back, what about, have you made any mistakes in your life? Committed any, what some people call sins? If you really dwell on those mistakes, like I said, so-called mistakes, some seem to be, some maybe aren't, you're blocking your good, because that's what your consciousness is dwelling on, is the mistakes. Or what about if you haven't worked hard? You know, we were always taught you got to work hard to get the good money, to have the good jobs. Well, as far as I know, God law doesn't have any rules about saying how hard you need to work to get a blessing. Or what about your upbringing? Maybe you weren't raised to be one of those rich people who gets lots of blessings. And so that belief is stopping you from receiving what you really want. Or maybe you think, hey, I deserve blessings, but you know, there's a couple other people, look at what they did. They should not have any blessings. Well, again, this sort of narrow-minded focus on the negative stops our own blessing. So, how can we stop dwelling on that? What if somebody really did something mean, very hurtful to us or somebody we love? Well, we have the tool of treatment. And treatment really does allow us to forgive, to let go of what we don't want to have in our consciousness and to move to a greater state. How can you know when you've really forgiven someone? You know, I forgive you, and then you think about him again, it's like, ugh. Well, Joseph Murphy says, I know I've forgiven others because I can think of them or meet them in person or in my mind, and there's no sting. That's that little clue. Is there still a sting if there is. More treatment. I've also seen people who have had like a painful experience. Like, say there was a relationship and there was one where a woman and a man were together, they were married, and the man decided to break up the relationship. And the woman was hurt, which is normal, felt badly, but she kept dwelling on her anger and her hurt. And no new blessings could come in because that's all she was sending out to the universe, to God law. Anger hurt, gets back, anger hurt. It was when she finally forgave, let go, and opened up to new good that her new relationship came in. It does seem like we do a lot of things without realizing that block our blessings. What about worry or fear? I have to say I'm guilty. I have experienced those. But, what do? People say worry is negative prayer treatment. If we're worried about the idea of lack and we think we won't have enough money to pay our bills, that focus, that belief, that idea focused with the emotion is what we're telling God law. That's our message, and God law says, okay, whatever message you send me, that's what I fulfill in your life. The same for health or love. And it does seem like most of us are really pretty good at worrying. We've got that down. We know how to do it. I like the idea of, because of course worry is fear, of fear being false evidence appearing real. Because we do, when we worry, we're worrying about what's going to happen in the future, not this very moment. And that is false evidence because it hasn't even happened yet. So let's do prayer treatment again and let go of those worries and open to the good. Think about what Jesus said. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. God law is just waiting to give you every blessing you can think of, everything you desire, but you have to give it the command by your belief. Are you spending a lot of time thinking about people in your life that you love or care about who are going through a hard time? That's where most of my worry's been. Being a mom, right? The blessing of the mom, and sometimes moms get into worrying about their children. But what I know, what Science of Mind teaches, is that the worry is not helping. It's doing just the opposite. Because we're forgetting that every person on the planet is an individualized expression of God. And what we can do is always know divine right action and highest good for them. And then we are changing our worry with its negative effect into something positive, for we're knowing the truth. Another reason I've seen people block their blessings is because they don't know what they want. What do you want? Well, I don't know. I know what I don't want. That's always easy, and that's a good way to, start if you need to. I don't want this, so what's the opposite? I want this.